Imagine you've pulled over on the side of the road to check directions on your phone, and within seconds, your life completely unravels. That is exactly what occurred in a dramatic New Jersey case where a routine traffic stop turned into a violent encounter, a serious crash, and an appeal about legal responsibility. My name is Matthew Miner, and I'm an attorney with Gill and Chamas in Woodbridge, New Jersey. This is part of a series where I'll summarize some legal cases that are handed down in the state of New Jersey. This case comes from the New Jersey Superior Court Appellate Division. The plaintiff, or the individual who filed the lawsuit, is David Villatoro Calderon. The defendants include Nicholas Sanchez and others. The underlying dispute arose from a car accident that occurred in Elizabeth, New Jersey, but the circumstances of the crash were far from ordinary. Sanchez, the defendant, pulled his car to the side of the road to look at directions on his phone. Two individuals, including one named R.A., entered the vehicle from the back. According to Sanchez's police statements, R.A. held a handgun to the back of his head and demanded his belongings. Scared and with adrenaline surging, Sanchez hit the accelerator and began driving away. Just seconds later, Sanchez ran a stop sign and collided with Villatoro Calderon's vehicle in an intersection. After the collision, R.A. even exited the vehicle and then fired two shots at Sanchez's car. Villatoro Calderon sued, claiming that Sanchez negligently caused the collision and that his negligence led to permanent injuries. The plaintiff argued that even if Sanchez was reacting to the gun threat, a jury should decide whether driving through the stop sign was reasonable or negligent under the circumstances. Sanchez moved for summary judgment, and with a motion for summary judgment, a party to a lawsuit is asking the court to decide a question of law, and they're saying that in filing the motion, there are no disputes of material facts that are related to the legal issue, and that the party filing the motion is entitled to summary judgment as a matter of law. His argument was primarily that the real cause of the crash was the violent act of R.A. in attempting to enter his car and get him to drive somewhere against his will, not Sanchez's decision to drive through the stop sign and ultimately collide with the vehicle. The trial court agreed and dismissed the case. On appeal, the central legal issue was proximate causation. That is, whether Sanchez's actions were the legal cause of Villatoro Calderon's injuries. The plaintiff said this was for a jury to decide. Sanchez and the court said no, because the person pointing the gun, R.A., constituted a superseding or intervening cause that broke any causal link between an initial act of negligence and the motor vehicle accident. So in plain English, proximate cause connects a defendant's act to the plaintiff's harm in a way that justice demands liability. And a superseding cause is such an extraordinary and unforeseeable event that it wipes out any legal responsibility for what came before it. The appellate division affirmed the trial court's decision. That is, they upheld the trial court's grant of summary judgment to the defendant, Sanchez. The appellate division found that Sanchez could not have foreseen that someone would crawl into his car and hold a gun to his head while he was pulled over. The act by R.A. was so extraordinary and unrelated to Sanchez's initial conduct that it broke the chain of causation. Since the accident would not have happened but for the gunpoint robbery and forced flight, Sanchez was not a proximate cause of the crash. In short, the court ruled that someone committing a violent crime constitutes a superseding cause and that Sanchez's actions did not legally cause the plaintiff's injuries under the facts of this case. The takeaway from this case is that when courts look at a chain of events leading to some injury or harm, it doesn't just look at what happened. It looks at who caused what happened in a way that is fair and foreseeable. In this case, the court said that the individual with the gun, RA, was the one whose actions legally mattered and not the driver trying to escape from a robbery and carjacking. That's why the defendant in this case walked away from the lawsuit and the case was dismissed.